again, sizing up Murphy. Drives, floats, hangs, and scores on the turnaround. J-Dub way behind the three-point line and hits way behind the three-point line. Got blocked. What a rejection by Holmgren. Standing tall like a wall.
This is New York. You're listening to the Uncontested.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Uncontested Weekly Show, part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network. I'm your host on this Wednesday evening, JD Silva, joined by a couple of fellas. It's Jacob Niffen.
What's up?
And it's Taylor Peterson.
If you all want to pay a specific dollar amount per month, you can see all of our degenerate comments we make in our private chat, because that's why I'm like chuckling before every intro.
That will never be made public. That
Like
private chat is between us and the NSA.
What happens in the private chat
Can never leave.
The only people that see that private chat are the five of us and the federal government who's got it tabbed.
And my neighbor.
Is your neighbor the federal government?
No, they're just tapped into my internet, I'm sure.
Oh, I thought they were peeking through that window behind you.
No, well, no, they wouldn't be able to.
What would you do if you just turned around and your neighbor was just looking in the window?
I'd freak the F out.
Person's
Do
just trying
you
to
know your neighbors?
This podcast.
No, I don't know my neighbors. I have seen them and I wave at them.
It's a good start.
Yeah.
I don't really know
got
my
over
neighbors
some
either.
cookies or brownies or anything when you guys moved in.
No, I was cooking out a couple days ago, and my neighbor behind me said, "Hey, you know the rule around here? If you're cooking out, got to bring me some too." And I was like,
Now we're talking. That's
that's
what you
suburbia.
can hang with.
Was he a 50-year-old white man?
"Yes, he was."
Because that's exactly what a 50-year-old white man would say.
Yep.
That guy's going to watch out for your yard and let you know if anything's happening. He'll drink a beer with you and watch some football.
Yeah.
He's gonna tell you how to get those weeds out of your grass.
Yeah, that's right.
I need it.
Get your lawn nice and green.
My lawn is ran by squirrels. The squirrels in this area, there are a lot. I've never seen this many squirrels before. They're like, I'll get home from lunch. They're on my front porch. It's like a gang hanging out in my yard, around my yard.
The squirrel squad, kind of like the Squirtle squad.
Yeah, they have sunglasses on. It's crazy.
I'll send you my beagle for a week, and he'll have it taken care of in no time.
Jeez.
It's
Talking about squirrel abuse on the podcast. Nick
He
Jordan
hates squirrels.
says you need to say hey and find out if your neighbors are longtime listeners to the pod.
good point.
Get
Sure.
the backyard neighbor, the 50-year-old white man, to sub to the pod. We'll give him a shout out. We need to know his name.
Okay. If I see him again, hey, listen to the show. You don't know my name. I don't know you.
Just
Fella.
you walk up and you say, "Fella, I'm JD Silva," or you could call me J Da Silva.
Here's some hot dogs.
Are you a Thunder fan? And when he says yes, you can plug the pod.
This is true. He's probably just gonna say no, boomer, and that'll be the end of it. That'll be the end of it.
Bench Jackson Arnold.
Yeah. Let's talk about basketball.
Are we sure?
Well,
There were some basketball things that happened.
We are. Yeah, we're getting close, gentlemen. Less than 2 weeks away from a preseason basketball game.
feels really good. I
Put
need
in
it.
my veins, dude. I need it.
I need it. I miss
I'm
it.
like SpongeBob in Sandy's dome. I need
That's
it.
what I always think of too.
Before the show, I was watching the end of the Connecticut-Indiana game with the Fever versus the whoever the hell was it Connecticut?
Suns?
Maybe. Whoever the Indiana Fever were playing. Sorry, I don't know. I don't know WNBA teams.
I don't know.
Connecticut Suns?
Is
Maybe.
it just sun? Is it singular? One sun?
I don't know, but I was watching it and it was awesome. So it reminded me, damn it, I miss NBA.
Agreed.
Hey, I was watching some Alex Caruso defensive highlights on YouTube the other night. And as I was watching it, you know what I said?
What?
God damn. This guy can play some defense. It's going to be gross, dude. Like, he and Lou Dort are literally, like, they're going to make dudes want to fist fight.
We got to come up with a name for that duo so we can make a T-shirt.
We do. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but they're going to be good.
Yep.
They might be good. Sam Presti spent a long time today telling me that they're not going to be very good, and I need to get my hopes down, not
It's
up.
not true. He did have a specific quote talking about how excited he is, essentially, to see.
Well, read it to
Caruso
us.
and Dort.
What's the quote?
Oh gosh, I don't know if I have that one saved.
Today was
But he
as we
did say-
get into basketball talk. Today, Sam Presti spoke to the media as he usually does before a season. Last year, he talked for a very long time.
His end of season is very long. Beginning of season's typically kind of long. Today was an hour and a half, I think.
Hour and a half. Yep. Did we learn anything?
Nick might be onto something. Caruso,
Caruso.
like it.
Did we learn anything from this presser? I don't know.
I
Not really.
don't think we learned much. Like I keep like starting to say something that I don't want to get off track. I love Sam Presti, and he is a very smart man. And when he compared Lou Dort to Ben Franklin, I was like, this man is a psychopath. Was it Lou Dort that he compared?
No, it was
to
Caruso. Speaking of Caruso,
Alex Caruso to Benjamin Franklin. He had some bars for sure.
Can I say my favorite one?
Go ahead.
Today, Sam Presti said, quote, "Social media is a sport, but scrolling is a lifestyle." Can I get an amen in the chat?
it's a
Bar.
bar.
Where are all my scrollers?
Where are all my scrollers? That's a shirt. Sam Presti, Sitlet.
I am a professional scroller.
Yes.
/ shit poster.
Yes.
Hey, my question is that I had maybe my biggest question from the availability. If social media is a sport, wait, what was it again?
Social media is a sport. Scrolling is a lifestyle.
What does that make podcasting?
The,
don't know.
The degenerate's career.
A hobby?
Yeah, hobby.
Yeah, kind of a hobby. I also don't know what that quote means, by the way.
Neither do I.
I have no idea what that means.
Even with context, when I read it back, it was, what?
No idea. Should we go through more?
Sorry, Jacob.
Go
you can
ahead,
continue.
I love Sam Presti. He's a very smart man. I have an ant crawling on my desk, and now he's a dead ant.
Damn.
Another bar.
Kind of like what the Thunder are going to do to Ant Edwards.
We're still in off-season mode. Sorry, friends.
I'm just gonna say it. I kind of feel gaslit today because listening to Presti's press conference, there was a lot of, we're hoping to make an arrival. Nothing is given to you. It's a blank canvas. We didn't get a Christmas Day game and an opening night game because we're a young team that they don't think can replicate what we did, and nobody thought we should have been where we were last year, and growth isn't linear, and this team could take a step back. I was basically sold every reason why not to believe in this team, and I feel like it's just getting ahead of the curve and trying to get people to keep the expectations low. But then he talked about how they don't give a shit about anybody's expectations externally. I just felt like I was being told the team is not going to be good when they were the number 1 seed in the West. We're a half second away from being in Game 7 of Round 2, added 2 significant pieces, and are the second odds-on title favorite for this year.
Do you think, I agree with you that this was basically just a repeat of last year for the most part. And
I'm like, you can't sell that to him anymore, dude. I watched this team last year. You can say all these things, but they have the second place MVP guy on the team. Everyone's going to get better. Everyone thinks Chet is going to be phenomenal. You added Hartenstein and Caruso. You get the more experienced bump from J-Dub, from Chet, from Cason Wallace, from Aaron Wiggins, from Isaiah Joe. I just felt like I was being sold. Don't get your hopes up. It's how would I not?
What will it
they're
take
gonna
for
be
him to
freaking
not?
incredible.
What would it take for him to not speak that way in a presser? I don't remember his pressers when the Thunder were contending for championships in the past.
Yeah.
But like,
Carl Green over here in the chat says, I think Presti is trying to keep expectations low. Look at what happened with the Kings. Just say. So a few things. He said they don't care about the external expectations. It's all about their internal monologue. And B, let's not compare this team to the Kings. Right? If there's any team in the league we're going to compare the Thunder to, it is not going to be the Kings. You could not get more like polar opposite.
I was trying to think of that player they drafted, Nick Stauskas. That does not happen in Oklahoma City. Should we go through some of these quotes to kind of?
Well, I want to respond because I told you that I understood pre-pod. I told you I understood where you're coming from, Jacob. But personally, I felt the vibe. Maybe because I didn't expect anything different from Sam this go around, but I felt the vibe. And I hate using that term, but it's the best way to describe it. The way he responded to these questions and just his vibe overall in comparison to a year ago and 2 years ago.
About his aura?
His aura, his Riz. Can I get the Riz sounder, Silva?
God.
Anytime Sam Presti walks into the room, you just hear.
We totally just lost our media availability for next Monday.
Meanwhile, anytime Nick Crane walks into a room, you hear
twist it.
That is chemistry and continuity, which we'll get into.
Yes.
But I thought his overall tone was a little different than it was like a year ago or 2 seasons ago when he's still saying the same things overall. But he let into a little more of how he's actually feeling. Like, for example, he mentioned expectations versus possibilities. And those external expectations are things that we have seen internally or we internalize as possibilities. We see those external expectations as possibilities. The difference is that external expectations are things that some people think should happen, and possibilities are things we feel could happen. That's him trying to temper the expectations because he doesn't like those. He doesn't want to put those on his team and on his players, on the organization. He wants to maintain that culture. At the same time, I feel like
then he was at the same time telling me to not have expectations.
Sure. I mean, he's never liked the national narratives that come out in the Bleacher Report trade articles.
That's fair.
And for being completely honest, the Thunder fan podcasts through the duration of the team. But at the same time, he's also talking about taking a step with the additions of Hartenstein and Caruso and bringing in Rabar, friend of the podcast. He had a good question asking him about how his tone, and we can get into specifics, but just like how his view has changed on adding players midseason for trades and stuff. Now that the team's a little better, and he kind of sheds some more light there, which I found interesting. Overall, I thought Sam was a little more optimistic. He still wants to temper those expectations because he doesn't want to put that on the team. That's Sam. He's never going to lead into that. At the same time, he also made it clear, we added Alex Caruso and Hartenstein for a reason. We evaluated the team last year for a reason. We're going to go through a similar process, but we also understand that we're further along now than we were a year ago. It was my biggest takeaway.
And he has a way, and we all know this. He has a way with words.
From Thunder Chick.
Read the arrival. Jacob is asking, "Are we there yet?"
We are there. We've made it. They were the 1 seed.
Yeah, that's a pretty good arrival. Presti has a way of talking like Taylor. When you read that quote, it was like someone casted a spell on me to not remember any of what you said.
100%. He talks in circles. He's very good. Presti and I have a lot in common when we talk. The difference is Presti is much more intelligent than I and can run an NBA team. We're very good at talking for long periods of time.
Presti and I have a lot in common.
Yeah,
that can be a sounder.
Good. Do you want some quotes?
Let's go through some quotes.
And you guys just pop in, tell me if they make you feel anything. If they...
do you want us to, rank them? What do you want us to do?
Well...
You're the host tonight, Silva. You got to come up with something.
Well, I put a joking rating in our text thread that we can just roll with it. 0 to 5 scale. 0, if something is a 0, it's as if a normal guy said it. Okay? On a scale of insanity. Level
so
5.
0 is a normal like your
On a
50-year-old
scale-
white neighbor.
My neighbor.
So on a scale from Taylor to Presti.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so the 0 is the backyard neighbor who
Yes.
said, if you grill for me, you got to grill, or if you're grilling, you got to grill some for me. Okay,
Right. And then 5 is the Riddler from the DC universe in
Okay.
terms of
From the Batman.
is this quote insane or not?
Sounds good.
Okay,
I
this
like
is
it.
actually perfect timing because I watched the Riddler the Batman, the new Batman over the
Oh, it's
weekend
awesome.
to get
Yeah.
ready for the Penguin
Yeah.
series.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Oh, in the
I did my homework.
Yeah. Okay. Quote number 1. I feel like I've seen this in my corporate life so many times. Quote, in any process, it's important to know what will slow you down. It's more important to know what will slow you down than what will speed you up.
I'm gonna go. So 0 is the 50-year-old white neighbor.
Yeah.
5 is the Riddler.
4 is the Rizzler.
I think I'm gonna go 3. This is a quote that my counselor would say to me.
I was gonna say 3 is like the philosopher. I'm
Yeah.
with you.
That's good. Okay.
There was
It's more
first there was
important to
Socrates,
know-
then there was Plato, then Aristotle, and then Sam Presti.
And then Sam Presti.
Some in between, but
Yeah. All right, next
Um,
one. All right, Taylor, you go ahead. Sorry, I don't know.
no, I just like briefly touching on some of the quotes. I know we need to
Mm-hmm.
speed up. We won't spend a lot of time on each one, but it will slow you down you need to know what will slow you down than what will speed you up. He's talking again about patience, which is a theme, as Jacob alluded to, about, he even mentioned, and we'll get into some of these additional quotes, but even with this new iteration of the team, maybe they took a step forward from last year, but it's still a new team with new additions, and we're going to try things. That's why we're going to see, like we've talked
He
about.
talked a lot about experimentation. You have to like open every door. You have to turn every page.
You
and just
gotta
you gotta try
battles,
shit out.
lose
And,
some
I mean-
battles to win the war.
Yeah, I mean they did that with like putting Kenrich at the 5 and these different types of things. They're just gonna try stuff, man.
All right. Next one. Quote. And this follows up directly with what we just said. Quote, we've always seen the regular season as an opportunity to discover the team. Anybody that's been here or covered the team for a long period of time understands what we mean when we say that. End quote.
This is like a 2. This is I go to Paycom Arena and I sit down to watch a game, and the random guy who got tickets next to me says this quote to me.
Because he heard it from Sam Presti's interview. Yeah, I think that's spot on.
This is a pretty basic ground level quote for me.
It means
But
he's
it
going
makes
to play.
sense.
He's going
Falls
to
in the
play
same
11
category.
to 12 guys a night.
Yeah, they're going to try different lineups. They're going to try different things. This is we don't know who's going to start. You guys say that, we should put Chet at the 5 because that worked last year. Maybe it won't work this year. Maybe Hartenstein does need to start the 5. Maybe we do need to start Caruso. Maybe we need to start both of them. Maybe we don't need to start either of them. And he's basically just saying we're going to try stuff.
We're going to give Usman Jang and Dylan Jones minutes until the blue season starts up. It reminds me.
What if they pop?
it
Right? That's
reminds
what he's
me
saying.
of
Like, what if they pop?
Yeah.
It's true.
It reminds me of his quotes from his exit interview at the end of last season after the playoff loss, just kind of about the whole Josh Giddey situation. And we needed to evaluate what we had before trading him at the deadline, like all the fans want, essentially.
Yeah. This next quote we already said, so we can skip it. But it's the one where he says, quote, I think the team has done an excellent job at focusing on internal standards and not external conversations. Jacob, is that your counselor again?
That's probably close to counselor level.
Yeah, that's a 3.
Yeah.
The philosopher.
Focus on your internal development. Don't worry about what others think of you.
That's a quote you have above your desk in your office in like the live, laugh, love font.
Yes, 100%.
Poku's family. They have that right there by the live, laugh, love.
Yes.
But it's written. What do they speak? Do they speak Serbian in Serbia?
I don't
What's
know.
the language they speak? Is Serbian a
question.
language? Chat, help us out. Chat, help us out.
Is Serbian a language? Yeah.
They speak Serbian. Okay, it's written in
Oh.
Serbian.
All right, next. This is a fun one. Quote, "We're not competing against the internet. We're not competing against expectations."
That's a one.
Yeah.
I agree.
I don't care what those internet folk. We're not trying to compete with WWLS, the sports animal.
Speaking of which, I think Brett Venables had similar comments in regards to starting Michael Hawkins over Jackson Arnold. But I think that quote that you pulled, Silva, was all a part of the longer segment he went on talking about expectations versus predictions. And the whole time I'm listening to that during my lunch break, I'm just thinking of, was it burn your assumptions? And
Yes.
what's that quote?
Something with your predictions and burn your assumptions. Burn
Yeah.
your assumptions, kill your predictions. Maybe it was an F, Mary, kill joke. I can't remember.
That's it, all in the same vein
Yeah.
of that quote.
Okay, the next one is about Chet. His workout video just posted of Chet today, working out with Drew Hanlon, who I have mixed thoughts about. I think he ruined Jason Tatum's jumper, but that's a story for another day. Good luck to Chet. But Presti, speaking on Chet and his offseason training, says, quote, "I kind of try not to watch too closely with some of the offseason training. I try not to put too much stock into that. He will talk basketball as long as you want to talk it. He's extraordinarily ambitious, but has no agenda."
This is like a 1 or a 2.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't like a super high level, like big brain quote, but it's awesome. Sam Presti would also offer you some advice. Watch the summer pickup runs. It's entertaining, and it gives you content.
It gives you content, and if you watch it, then you'll think that the Thunder have arrived, right, Jacob?
There you go.
You'll be confident.
Hey, I watched those Chet pickup runs and the Hartenstein pickup runs, and you know what I said?
Championship.
Damn, those guys can hoop.
Look at the aura coming through the screen.
I will say this, though. This also ties in, when I'm reading this ties into another overall theme that Presti has talked about a lot in his exit and season intro availability. But he talks about loving just sitting with the players and watching them work out and watching their craft and learning what makes them tick. And it's a lot like that with Chet, right? Like what he's saying here is he loves just sitting down one-on-one, talking to Chet about basketball and learning what makes him tick, learning what makes him a basketball player. He mentioned that with Caruso. I really can't wait to just like sit down with him and watch him work out and see what, kind of makes him Caruso.
He kind
That's
of
such a Presti thing.
He fanboys over Caruso a bit.
Oh yeah. And Davis Bertans, it's the exit interview where he talked about like he just loved watching him practice and shoot.
Yeah,
watching his.
I could get that.
His drills. Yeah, that's what I thought of when I saw this quote.
I'd pay to watch Davis Bertans just shoot in an empty gym. I wouldn't pay very much. It'd be enjoyable. Next quote. Moving on. This is a bar. This is when he was asked about SGA. I don't know the exact context. Maybe you guys can correct me. It was like someone from another team or somewhere external.
Yeah, I think it was about
SGA.
like. If I know where you're going with this, I think it's about like ball movement versus passing, and like keeping the ball moving and keeping the offense in flow.
Yeah, this is regarding SGA from Sam Presti. Quote, "You have to become a two-way player. You can't just have the ball and cook. That's not a formula to win."
Bar. And
Subtweeting.
Quote I say about Nick Crane when he plays pickup. It falls on deaf ears.
Yeah.
But this is a one.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Basically,
You
he
can't
was
just
asked
have
about
the ball
Shea.
and cook. This is this a shot at a guy like why am I going blank? It's one of Nick's favorite players, which makes total sense.
Cam Thomas.
Cam Thomas. I'm glad that you got it first try, Taylor.
Is
Nick
it
has
a
a type.
Is
Nick
it
has
a
a-
shot
Nick
at
has a type.
former Thunder great Russell Westbrook,
James Harden.
James Harden?
Oh.
Dion?
Can't just cook.
Can't just cook.
I like it.
Okay. Next one. We all love this one. Quote, I just think JWill is a special guy. He's a guy I think no matter what team he's on, he's going to help that team win a little more than they usually would. I'm interested to see how this season unfolds for him. End quote.
Yeah, it's another one, but he's not wrong. The vibes, the aura of JWill is it's high. I mean, I think he raises the level of competition. I think he raises the level of camaraderie. I think he's one of the best teammates. He's always cheering on other guys, regardless of the minutes he's getting. I'll be interested to see, kind of like what Presti said, like, what does his role look like? We had this discussion the other night. But it's impossible to not love JWill just for the personality and the mindset of the guy.
So I have a couple things on this one. The first overall being, I think Sam genuinely meant everything he said about JWill there. I have no doubt. But we also know Sam is extremely articulate, like we mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, how he doesn't give incredible insight while giving you just enough. Doesn't want to promise anything, but will give you, try and answer a question anyways. So given that, I think he probably knows and has inferred that JWill is probably a little frustrated post Hartenstein signing, because that means that JWill's role is obviously going to be quite a bit different, or at least he's going to have more competition coming into training camp than JWill had last season. But JWill is a personality, like you guys mentioned, and I think that's what a lot of what he was alluding to, Jacob, was just his overall uplifting personality, the smile, what he's able to, the intangibles he's able to bring to a team. He's a personality, though, that I think will respond well to that, being called out, being the only specific player to be called out. I think Presti knew what he was doing there. He's trying to encourage JWill. We also have seen Presti call out these players in the past, being Trey Mann in a very similar position, trying to encourage Trey Mann preseason. And, when he was in a similar situation. But also, and again, I didn't read too much into this, but there's a lot of people on Twitter who were reading into this. There's a part of that quote.
They'd be called scrollers.
Yeah, the scrollers. The scrollers, the degenerates. No, the degenerates are smarter than that.
Don't compare them to the degenerates.
Yeah, you're right.
The degenerates are decent people.
High IQ basketball people. But there was some that took a lot into the part of the quote where he mentions, whatever team he plays on, he's going to uplift that team, almost as if when he's on another team. Right. I didn't view it that way.
Neither do I.
Curious your guys' thoughts.
I do not view it that way. Although that brings me back to that quote you brought up earlier, Taylor, about making like the in-season trades. And I think that question and that answer is a direct result of the PTSD of Gordon Hayward.
Great point.
I really like JWill, and I hope he gets a shot. I liked Sam saying, I'm interested to see how this season unfolds for him. Like, I feel like
he's the 10th or 11th guy, and I think he's going to get time.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know how much.
At regular time, but I hope he makes most of it.
Yeah. All right. It's time to take an ad break. After that, we have some more quotes to go through, some more ratings to apply to these quotes, and a little bit of NBA news. We will be right back. We're back. Taylor, do you have a word for the audience?
I do. Let me pull it up quickly. Got it.
We're stalling. There we go.
Degenerates. The season is almost here. You know what I would love heading into the NBA season? To watch some games, a little extra cash. How would you all like an extra $500? Go to bluewirepods.com/survey and complete the Blue Wire audience survey about you and your podcast listening habits for a chance to win a $500 gift card. This survey will help create a better advertising experience for audiences and in turn help us here at The Uncontested, as well as our other shows on the Blue Wire Podcast Network. That's bluewirepods.com/survey, where all you have to do is answer some simple questions for a chance to win $500. Make sure to read the full terms and disclaimer, plus complete the survey for a chance to win. That's bluewirepods.com/survey. We'll be sure to include the link when we upload the episode.
And we're back with some more quotes. Brighton, thank you for entertaining us in the chat. Yes, Taylor did. He's out of here. Told him not to. He didn't.
Sell out.
I know. All right. This next quote is long, but I did it because it is insane. This is Sam Presti on becoming the hunter versus the hunted. This is only a small piece of this quote, but, quote, I hope we can kind of just be who we are, but in a different environment. We're not unaware that there's going to be a lot of external conversation / external expectations on the team. That's good. That means people have a healthy respect for the team and the players. That's all positive. But at the end of the day, the word expectations is built on the word expect, as in like given, or it's like you start on third base, like I said earlier. That's not realistic. That's why we kind of look at possibilities, because they certainly could unfold that way. End quote.
Yeah, this is the Riddler.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is Presti at his prime Presti.
Like
PP, if you will.
PP.
We
Again,
got playoff P and prime P.
Prime P. Kind of. This is like. This is why I didn't want to dive too deep into the weeds when you got through those first couple of comments, because I knew this quote was coming, and this is essentially what he meant in a nutshell. Like, we're excited. We have a lot of faith in this team. At the same time, we're going to continue to do the things that got us here. We're going to take it step by step, day by day. To use a Dagnallism, we're going to stack days, and we aren't going to give in to that outside pressure.
He's just he's an expert at repackaging whatever he's trying to say in a way that sounds pretty good but doesn't say a lot.
This man said you can't just cook, and then spent an hour and a half just cooking.
As soon as I read, but at the end of the day, the word expectations is built on the word expect, I was like, that's something the Riddler would say.
100%.
All right. Next quote, significantly shorter, but still worth talking about. Quote, the Western Conference sharpens the blade. End quote.
So saying, hey, we're better because we play in a tougher conference
Yes.
is like a 1 or a 2.
Yeah.
Saying it sharpens the blade bumps it up to like a 4 to me.
It's pretty sick.
The message, a 2. The phrasing is a 4. So if 3 is my counselor and 5 is the Riddler, what is a 4?
Could it be like a 7-Eleven employee?
I think it is the homeless man outside the 7-Eleven who is under the influence.
There you
Could
go.
be.
Talking in riddles.
Yes.
I like it. Yeah.
George in the chat says Sam Presti has the East catching strays.
Yeah, absolutely.
The East sucks.
He said, I'm not sure we'd be the team of our current caliber if we didn't play in the West. It's accelerate our development curve. And my thoughts on that is like, I think this team would still be where they are statistically and maybe statistically and from a like developmental standpoint in terms of players if they were in the Eastern Conference, but they wouldn't be as battle tested as they are now, which I think is going to pay dividends when you do get to the playoffs. Which
iron
is
sharpens iron, especially in the not only the conference but the division they are in.
So true.
So
you can take nights off in the East. Like
the statement is, if 1 is your backyard neighbor, then 2 is the random guy sitting next to me at Paycom. 3 is my counselor. 4 is the homeless man outside 7-Eleven who is under the influence.
Yes.
And then 5 is the Riddler. The message is a 2, the random guy at Paycom. But the phrasing is the homeless man who's high.
That we wish the best for.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Absolutely. Yeah, he'll be fine.
He'll be fine. He's made it this far.
All right, next quote before I lose it. If Isaiah Hartenstein was 6'7" or 6'8", we'd still want him on the team.
Yeah, this is a 1 to me.
Yeah, it's a 1.
They like the style of play. There's nothing too much to read into this. There's no deciphering needed.
Can I say that although there might not be deciphering needed, it's probably a lie.
You think
Right?
so?
Yeah, you needed a center.
I think
He's
Chet was pretty damn good at center. I think
but Chet's tall as hell.
I think 6'5" Isaiah Hartenstein
J-Dub?
is Alex Caruso.
Oh.
He's talking 6'7" or 6'8". So
Yeah, it's J-Dub.
J-Dub's not 6'7" or 6'8" though. J-Dub is also
6'6".
6'5". He's six. Yeah. He's a generously listed 6'5". I think he's probably closer to 6'4". You look at him stand next to Shea, he is shorter, for sure.
Fair.
If he was 6'7" or 6'8", I'd be like,
that's the big wing we needed, JD.
I'd be like, he better be able to shoot, and he better cost a hell of a lot less than what he just got.
Touche.
Yeah, George says that's JWill. Basically so. Basically so. Okay, next one. This one if you are looking at this in our document, the quote is not actually a quote, but it is. He was asked about SGA's legacy, and Sam went on to talk about how players have impacted Oklahoma City and how they've left a legacy in a number of different ways. And he said, Jeremy Lamb's in town right now. He was on a 60-win team. He's here for some event. I just wanted to say, hey, welcome back, Jeremy Lamb. That's me that said that, not Sam Presti.
Jeremy Lamb is literally so confused right now. Where am I?
Forgot about that.
Hey,
great Instagram story by Jeremy Lamb.
There was nobody higher on the Jeremy Lamb, Reggie Jackson backcourt than myself.
Only person higher than you was probably Jeremy Lamb himself on the bench.
The only person higher than me was the guy outside of 7-Eleven.
Yes.
Jeremy Lamb also hit me up to find a tattoo shop in Oklahoma City.
Oh, that's cool.
Never got the tattoo. Or he might have got the tattoo, but not from my recommendation. So
very cool.
Sorry, Jay Lamb.
Jeremy Lamb was the first experience I can remember of being a basketball fan, being into a draft prospect or a draft specifically, and then being disappointed even though I was jacked up about that prospect.
Oh yeah. I was big on Jeremy Lamb.
Like, what do you mean all these highlights aren't coming true in the NBA? Like,
a lot of that was copium because it was tied to the James Harden trade. And
yes,
for sure. For sure.
Yes.
But hey, I will entertain this one a little bit. Mainly because we're like only at 38 minutes. I'm shocked. So I got to at least get us to the hour point. We can't stop at 45, Silva. Not actually. But I was thinking a little bit about this, and like Isaiah Hartenstein hasn't even played a game for the Thunder. He's already out in the community doing things. Russell Westbrook opened up his first like full-on school, his first on Westbrook Academy in LA. Is Thunder colors, right? Like everything's orange, white, blue. There certainly is something there, and the fact that somebody like Jeremy Lamb is still coming back to the community. No offense to Jeremy. But just in general, like that says so much about this team, this organization, how deeply ingrained they are with the city. And that's something that I think Sam spent a lot of time on, especially in his opening statement, which was like 20-something minutes.
Yeah. Shout out to a guy. It's shout out to a guy like Jeremy Lamb, who actually ended up having a pretty good career.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe
one guy I do not think will be coming back is Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, no.
He's not doing anything in the community.
Unless they're doing like a 30 years from now, they do like a celebrity boxing match of former Thunder players. Then you bring back Reggie.
Jeremy Lamb versus Russell Westbrook.
Jeremy Lamb?
Yeah.
I was going to say.
Oh, sorry. Reggie Jackson versus Russell Westbrook.
I mean, yeah, that'd be great. But give me Reggie versus Raymond Felton. Fat Ray.
Raymond's going to be dead in 30 years, brother.
From diabetes.
God damn, I didn't go that far.
What does that mean?
But he'll be
I
like,
love you, Ray.
He'll be like 70. That's almost the life expectancy of Americans.
Can we analyze what just happened? Jacob just said he's going to be dead in 30 years.
I thought it was a fat joke.
And Taylor said from diabetes, and you said that was worse than you saying he'd be dead in 30 years. Those are equally worse to me.
It's a fair point. We wish nothing but great things for Raymond Felton. And just
Reggie Jackson can go to hell.
Yes.
Now we're talking.
Yes.
Here's
that's all I had for.
All right. So we have not had enough Riddlers and Sam Presti has some Riddlers. So I have one for you guys.
Good.
You guys can rank it, but you obviously know how I feel. He was asked about Thunder not having a Christmas game day. I'm going to be completely honest. I thought he was just going to blow this question off. Like, same thing. We don't worry about external noise, blah, blah, blah. We're only focused on us. But he actually like gave some pretty good insight. And this is one reason I led and kind of pushed back against Jacob. That like he has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, and he's excited about this team. So he mentioned the Thunder obviously having the most Christmas Day games since 2008 for a small market, yada, yada, yada. So he said, I don't think it's that. I think there's a little bit of Hanlon's razor in there. And I think that, and I say that to not be on opening night and not be on Christmas Day, have the second leading MVP vote getter and also the number 1 seed. Sure. It's a little sarcasm there. I loved it. But I also kind of like it because I think whoever is making those decisions, I think it's probably the league, I think they're kind of looking more at the age and saying, well, this is too young. Maybe they don't think we're this or we're that. I like that challenge.
Who's razor?
Hanlon. I had to look this up too because I know all about Occam's razor. Don't get me started on Occam's razor.
I don't know who that is either.
I don't know anything about razors. Hanlon's razor is a rule of thumb that states never attribute to malice that which is adequately explained by stupidity. It is a philosophical razor that suggests a way of eliminating unlikely expectations for human behavior.
It's like example.
Okay, that definition was the goddamn Riddler.
Yes, it's like Jacob. If I go get ice cream later, and you're like, bro, why didn't you invite me to go get ice cream? Hanlon's razor says, I didn't know you wanted to be invited to go get ice cream. So there was no malice in my lack of inviting you to this ice cream trip.
It's no malice, it's ignorance.
Correct.
No malice. Shout out Clips, right?
Yes.
Hey.
Occam's razor. No, we don't have to go.
Yeah, I what's that? I didn't know that was a thing.
It's just
Let's talk
like
about razors.
The most likely reason is the most obvious reason, essentially.
Okay.
Why are they called razors?
Agreed.
I'll
I was
show
going
you
to ask that next.
razor.
Phil, a razor is a principle or rule of thumb that allows one to eliminate or shave off. There it is. Unlikely explanations for a phenomenon or avoid unnecessary actions.
Yes. Thunderchick says,
Am I in like a 3,000 level philosophy class right now?
I don't know. I did take a philosophy class.
Philosophy
cool.
101.
Thunderchick says, I want to hear JD's take on that. I assume it's about she also said people are just ignorant but don't have ill intentions. Yeah. I think that's basically what the quote is saying also.
Okay. See, Thunderchick, you should teach philosophy.
Yeah. That is a digestible way to
She's able to translate. I like that.
People aren't shitty. They're just dumb. Good rule of thumb to live by. That is 3, my counselor.
I'm putting that right behind me here.
On the wall.
But also,
at some point, I will buy you the dry erase board, and then we'll.
Yes,
you can put that.
You can write it. You can write it, and then you can put what's his face's name, like at the end of the quote, and then under that you can put JD Silva, like Michael Scott does in The Office. It'll be great.
Oh, it's Occam, Occam, Occam razor.
Occam's razor, yeah.
I thought it was Arkham's razor, like the Batman.
No,
Arkham
Occam's razor.
Oh, good stuff.
She wants to. Oh, yeah. I don't have a take on Occam's razor. I just know what it is from philosophy class. I took.
That's impressive that you remember that because, like, my freshman classes, all that stuff went like right out the mind as soon as I graduated. Couple quick hitters. Sam Presti and Alex Caruso's contract extension. We can't have that conversation until December. When we can, we will have that conversation. We know enough that we want to have him here for a really long time. And this is after saying he doesn't want to place any expectations.
For him to walk in a year.
Yeah, that's right. I think it was very clear to Alex and his representation that we intend to have you here. I'm not saying they've talked numbers. I don't think they have, but they made the trade saying, hey, we're going to talk. We're going to come to an agreement, and you're going to be here for a while, which I love.
All right, the chat's getting a little out of hand.
The chat's getting insane.
Let's talk politics.
Brighton is chief
trying to stir
degenerate.
Things up.
Chief degenerate.
Brighton just drops a comment once every 10 minutes or so. That is insane. Yeah.
Hey,
all right.
I'm watching with no audio. but I'm still watching.
That happened once. Brighton did do that once. Thunder
That's
Chick,
I didn't know that.
politics.
Thunder Chick, I am not into conspiracies. So I have not learned it from that
I
environment, at
am.
least. Taylor, as soon as Taylor logs off, he puts on the tinfoil hat and he
That's right.
turns all his lights out.
If I were at Presti's availability today, I would have asked him about his farm teams over in Charlotte and Washington, D.C.
Hey, speaking of tinfoil hats, when you guys were younger, did you ever get the metal? Oh, it's not. What is it? Tin that is the stick of chewing gum is wrapped up in. You know what I'm talking
Yep,
about?
yep.
It's like metal. It's like metal
Juicy Fruit.
shavings. Yeah, juicy fruit or I wasn't really a
Big
juicy
Red?
fruit. I definitely wasn't a big red guy. I was more of a what's the green one called? The classic, the evergreen, mint green,
Yeah, like the
Spearmint?
spearmint color.
spearmint.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever take those and then put it over your teeth like you had a grill?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Okay, good. I just
Yes,
want
I
to make
did.
sure I wasn't the only one.
And it tasted bad.
Shout out Paul Wall.
Shout out to Paul Wall. I only kind of know who that is.
You're such a baby.
I know.
You
I
make
know
me
a lot
feel
of-
old.
Got your mouth looking something like a disco ball, JD.
Oh,
Hey, Connor has not been in our chat for a while. Welcome back, Connor.
Connor hasn't been in the chat and drops in and just drops a bar
that's a
that
great
we're not
quote.
reading on the.
That's such a great quote, though. Great reference. Well done, Connor.
All right. We got some NBA news to talk. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like there's one item that I thought is pertinent to being a Thunder fan, in that it's bad for the Clippers. So whatever your expectations were for the Clippers this year, let's just lower that a little bit because
Let's burn them.
Let's burn them.
Shout out
Kawhi
Sam.
had a procedure done in May to his knee. When he left the Olympics. So
They said they feel like he's okay, but that's a story I've heard for 5 years.
Yeah, the quote from Lawrence Frank, their, I believe, GM, president of basketball ops, something like that is, quote, "I think the timing is all going to depend on how his knee responds to each phase. We're trending in a really, really good direction."
Yeah, I bet you are, buddy.
Yeah.
if
Lather,
trending
rinse,
in
repeat.
the right direction means we haven't had to amputate in the past 5 years, then yes. His knee is cooked, bro.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's honestly, it's like kind of a miracle he played as many games as he did last year. There's no way he and Harden played that many games again, right?
No way.
No.
Not with this leading into the right before the offseason. So when this is announced. And they try and spin it with, typical politics, the positive spin. Oh, we're optimistic he'll be available for season opener. I would pay
Do you know how many
legitimate
games?
money
We've had this conversation, but it's been a little
that
while.
he doesn't.
Do you know how many games he played last year?
Kawhi?
Yeah.
I think we did this. It was
We
up
did.
there.
But do you remember?
Is it like
Something like
60?
60 something. Yeah.
68.
It's a lot.
That's never happening again.
If I put the over-under for this year for him at 64.5,
Under.
Hammering the under.
Hammering the under.
do you know how many games James Harden played last year?
Wasn't it quite a bit? Also like 70 something? Or am I lying?
72.
Yeah.
There's no way they both play that many games.
No.
And with the West as competitive as it is, and Kawhi's knee having more issues, and probably missing games, like the Thunder are getting a top 10 pick. Like I've already convinced myself.
Why did they
Clippers
extend
are-
him?
I mean, what other option?
They have to.
If you let him walk, what do you do?
And ownership won't let them
Especially going
rebuild,
into that new
reposition
arena.
like the Thunder. Right.
Yeah.
Like
You just
they
try and
have to
sell.
they have to try to put a winner on the team or on the floor for that new arena.
That's just a
Imagine
sad
opening
place
that
to
new
be.
arena and it's just empty, which could still happen even with them paying these extensions and paying these contracts. Like, it's not great.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff, but
Like I'm not
well,
convinced there's anything left in his knee. It's just dust.
Sawdust.
Yeah, I mean it's every year, like literally every year something
Yeah.
gets done to it. So
It's
And
not-
I
Yeah,
do
that's
wonder if him playing quote unquote so many games last season in comparison to some of his previous seasons, if that led to this issue heading into the offseason.
Yeah.
But
Fair.
we're a Thunder podcast. And
Here
we
is
have
the
to talk
lit-
about it.
Here's
It's,
a
pretty
list
great for the
of
Thunder.
Kawhi games played going in reverse. And he's about to be 33. He's going to be 33 this year. Not that 33 is old. I'm older than 33. Last year, 68. The year before that, 52. The year before that, 0. The year before that, 52, 57, 60, 9, and then you get 74, 72. So since 2017, 2018, he's played 9, 60, 57, 52, 0, 52, 68. Odds tell you he's playing under 60 games this year.
Easy.
Which I like, aside from the is he playing or not conversation, it sucks that his career went this way.
Agreed.
Agreed.
He was awesome.
Yeah, he was insane.
And it's all because of Zaza Pachulia.
Yeah.
I think it's more so genetics, but
Yeah.
Zaza contributed.
His career is going like that of an NFL player, where as soon as you hit 29, 30, it's like, oh god, here's the cliff, and we're rapidly going down it. So it'd be like that sometimes.
It do be like that sometimes.
All right. So, you guys ready? Time for the next segment. Let's go through our top 10 favorite draft prospects in the 2025 NBA draft. Slowly.
Play the outro music, please.
Number 1, Cooper Flag.
Number 2,
Number 2,
Ace Bailey.
boom. Come on,
That's
Those
about
are the
all I
two
know.
names I know.
That's about all I know.
Ron Harper.
Ron Harper,
There it is. There's
the
3.
guy from the Bulls, from all those years ago.
Well, Junior. It's his son, I believe.
Really? Learn something new every day. Thank you guys for listening. Brighton, thank you for not leaving a hate comment. Thank you guys for listening as always.
No hate speech in the chat, please.
No hate speech in the chat, please. We will
Wait,
see ya.
it's not Ron Harper Jr. I apologize.
Who is it?
We don't have enough time.
Oh my god.
He's currently playing for the Celtics,
Oh my
G League
God.
team.
We'll see you guys Sunday.
Why am I going blank on this? This
Hey,
is
are we
bad.
podcasting Sunday or are we waiting until Monday after Media Day?
Oh.
You'll find out on Sunday, I guess.
Yes. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time, whenever that is. Adios. Thunder up.
Dylan Harper. I got it. I did it. That's what I meant.